Season 2, episode 2. We're back, the Rep Pod. Me, the other Wayne, and Mr. Worldwide, Martin Cassidy. Never gets bored of that one. We're back anyway. We're going to touch on little bits about what we spoke about last week. Wayne's got something that he wants to put to us today. I've got some graphic that I want to show you on the screen, and a little bit of volley back at me from my my views on blue cards last week. Although we'll touch on that because Martin's got some breaking news in the world of football regarding that particular thing we spoke about last week. So yeah, we're back. How are you doing, boys? You good?
Good man, thank you.
Sounds, yeah. Sounds. Oh, good. Yeah. Really good weekend. So it sounds quiet, but not but still enjoyable.
Well, listen, let's go straight into to Wayne, the other Wayne. Can I just call you Little Wayne?
Little Wayne's fine. Call me Little Wayne.
Straight over to Little Wayne. And yeah, I think I've got an idea what you're going to approach.
I know you have. We had a minor argument earlier on. So offside, PIG. It's been played. You're interfering with play. You've gained an advantage. Okay? Any one of those three constitutes to offside. So what is your definition of interfering with play?
I start with me, or Martin?
Either. Let's start with you, Rylesy.
What's my definition of interfering with play? It's an hard one to nail down, really. I guess I know we're talking about. I'll tell you what we'll do. I've got the clip that you sent me. I'll see if I can pull that off, and put it on the YouTube version of this podcast, so people can have a look at what you're talking about. I won't. I guess it depends. Are you in front of the ball as it's played? So what I mean by that is, if the ball's played through you're in an offside position, but it passes by you and goes to a teammate behind you, are you interfering with play? That it's so difficult to determine, because if there is a defender behind in that particular instance, and he thinks you're going to get the ball and you leave it, it could alter his run, his stance, whether he puts a leg out or not, and it rolls to the player behind him, who then has an opportunity. In relation to, if I do get this video downloaded and I put it up, what you showed earlier, I'm not sure if Martin got a chance to watch it.
Just Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, did you watch it?
Yeah.
For me, he is. If you're looking if you're looking at the screen, the ball comes from the bottom end of the screen. You argued that is he impeding player number 22? No, he's not. The ball doesn't get that far. 22's behind him. There's a defender in front of the defender that's at the side of the player who scores the goal. And he was never getting to that ball. There's no interference. He's not stood in front of the keeper. He's not blocking the keeper's view. Basically, it's pretty poor defending, really, from Rotherham. They allow him to get a run on him, and nobody stops to run. Nobody gets in front of him. Nobody puts a challenge in. And it's a clear header. There is a player stood in an offside position at the top of the picture, but the ball doesn't go nowhere near him, so the keeper won't see him because he's not in his line of sight because he's nowhere near the ball. He doesn't stop anybody running past him because he's also running. He's also running. It's not like if you look at the Liverpool one where Endo got flagged as offside, which I also think is slack, because it happens time and time again. It doesn't always get flagged up. If you like, blocked a player. This guy, because he stood still, this guy was running in. He was running in for an header. If he'd have headed it himself, he'd have been offside. So he didn't impede anybody's run. He wasn't in the keeper's line of sight. It didn't affect the flight of the ball. It didn't stop anybody from seeing the ball because he was stood behind them. So for me, that is one of the worst. If that was given for offside, I don't know if it was or it wasn't. I mean, the video implies it was. It's probably the worst offside decision I've ever seen, or one of them.
You see, for me, I think interfering with play doesn't necessarily mean those specific points. Players ran and moved in a specific way because he was where he was. That caused the play to move differently.
But even if,
and therefore, because he gained the advantage, he was ahead. He'd made an advantage in front of these other people after the ball had been played. Therefore, he was in an offside position, which everyone agrees. But because he influenced the way that top half moved, he's therefore offside.
He didn't. But even if he did influence the way the top half moved, the top half has got no chance of getting to that ball.
But he interfered with play.
No, he didn't, because
did.
he's not involved in the
Because your
play.
definition of interfering with play is different to mine. He interfered with play because he caused players
Put
to
this on a
move in a
poll in my
particular
coaches
direction.
chart, in our coaches
Yeah,
chart.
be a good one.
And it's 75% to 25%, and the 25% is a Leeds fan.
The 75% of Chef Wednesday fans are only three
they're
people
not.
answered it.
No, they're not. It's Martin, go on. Let's come to you, mate. You're the ex-pro in this. You used to Lino. In fact, there's 6-1 now, so you're even more. Technically, it should be 100% had the Leeds fan not being a dick. Have you seen the video, Martin?
Yeah. Listen. Even if I don't go looking for it, if bleeding comes to me and that's Twitter accounts, I get people 20 million times. That's the points. Take on this, defending and the ref. Can't escape it. I literally can't escape it. It gets thrown down my throat.
Does this mean you're going to defend the line?
Hey?
Does this mean you're going to defend the line?
No, what I'm going to say is there's when something looks that wrong, really, and you just said one of the worst ones you've ever seen, I either think, what have we missed? As there's something that the line was seeing that we haven't, or is it just so fundamentally wrong that it is just a bad mistake? As someone who's been there in those sorts of situations, look where the ref is. I don't think the ref had a good clue of where he was or what happened to who headed it. They didn't get together, did they? No, the ref never went over and had a chat with him, did he?
Yeah, it doesn't really show.
Even though they got head mics on, I think the reason they do is to tell everyone in the crowd that they've talked. You know what I mean? If you think about it, go over and see them, but they're all mic'd up, so they are communicating. So it'll be really interesting to see what that conversation was. Because the referee, what can a referee do? They haven't got VAR there.
He's got to go with Lino, hasn't he?
He's got to go with the Lino. Absolutely got to go with the Lino. And I think the biggest story here is, I don't think it's about getting it right or wrong. From my head, I think that it looks like it is a big mistake. But it's things like this and the Paul Tierney incident with Liverpool Forest, where they should come out pretty early and explain what's going on. Because when things look at that level, I don't care what people say. No. These are professionals. I know what it takes to go in to that level of football. And that was like 15 years ago, whatever, when I bleeding stopped. And I know what they go through now to be trained, the amazing fitness levels they have now, even 10, 15 years, it's a lot more. I just think, is there something more to both of them? And do you know? No, let me just go back on this one. On that one that comes in, it comes in so far that they're hard for linos, when that ball's coming through and you're looking, thinking you're going to get this. Then you got to think, that snapshot. You have to take a snapshot when the ball's hit. That's hard to do in that liner when you're looking down the line, and yet the ball's getting delivered probably 25 yards up from where your left shoulder is as a lino. No one ever thinks about this. They just think they got it wrong. Do you know what I mean?
I did look. I went over it about 5 or 6 times because I was trying to find out if I missed something, if they flagged for something else. And this is not like I don't necessarily think that he's flagging for him interfering with play. I literally think he's got the wrong person. I think he thinks the person that's headed the ball is the person that was stood in an offside position.
Offside position, yeah.
Yeah,
no, I agree.
I don't think that.
I think for being, because he's not interfering with play, regardless of what Wayne says. But I just think that he's looked up before the kick's took. He's quickly looked up, seen that there's that guy in offside position, thinking, right, if that ball then lands on him, I know he's offside. And as he's gone back maybe to watch the flight of the ball, and there's
that definitely doesn't happen. I don't know.
Well,
no, you have this sort of like.
But maybe in this instance, for the reason he's made that mistake,
he'll be facing side onto that pitch. He'll be planted. He'll be planted looking. And you have this sort of peripheral vision. For those who are watching on YouTube will see me doing this, but when you're on the radio, you sort of catch the delivery eye, your left eye, the corner of it. Like I can see my hand doing this now, but it's not on camera. You know what I mean? I can see, sort of get this feel. You can't really go on noise because that's a bit of a difference in time as well. So you have this sort of, you have this knack where that's why they always say, face face a field of play. So you like the chameleon where you got your both eyes on it, and you can pick it up and you take the snapshot. You take the snapshot.
You see, I saw this earlier.
I just think on that far, when you're that far over, it's right, and the balls take so long to get in. I think they are difficult. I really do think they are. It does look like that Lino's got it wrong. I absolutely think it's got it wrong. But I don't think the reason we think he's got it wrong is the reason he got it wrong. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think, oh, he wasn't paying attention. And I think when you put everything
I
in,
didn't mean not paying attention. Football's so quick in it. I just think maybe just
no
for
one
a
gives
split
that. That's what
second,
I'm saying. No one
he
gives
took his
that.
eye
No one
off
gives that benefit
what he
himself.
were actually looking at, and then
Well, this is what
that player got replaced by the other player in front of him because of very similar angles in the run. And I just think that he thought that was the guy that were offside. I don't think he's flagged.
Well, that's what led me to my question. So, first instinct is he's got his players mixed up. So then you see the flag, and I'm thinking, what else has he seen? So then I started looking at these other players and thinking, right, is that interfering with play? Which then led me to the question, what is interfering with play? You know, because one person's interpretation of it could be completely different to another's.
Yeah, but that's going to happen.
It can, Wayne. But I think that from that clip, it doesn't. It's not even in a grey area because he's not. If he's maybe pulling back the defender, who's maybe on the guy that scores the goal, you could argue possibly, but he's not. He's not. There's another defender there.
He's got 3 defenders around him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So he's not, and he's running. He's not stood still. He's running to head the ball. If he heads the ball, he's in an offside position. So he's not stood there blocking anybody. He's not blocking anybody.
He's running for that ball.
He's not stood in front of the keeper. He's not stood in front of the guy that's scoring the goal. He's impeding no views whatsoever. He's not blocking anybody off. There's literally no interference in play whatsoever there.
If the player that headed the ball had missed the ball, he would have got it.
But then he'd have been offside.
He's offside.
Yeah, I know he is. But then
so the offside flag's gone up.
With play,
he's
though,
offside
he's
because
active in play. No.
He's not interfering.
He's not interfering with play. Then he's active in play because he's now touched the ball. But that ball's got to pass 5 or 6 players before it gets to him. So like I said, he's not stood still. He's not blocking a run. He's not impeding the keeper's vision. He's not impeding any defender's vision. The simple, it's shit defending.
I don't know.
It's not shit defending.
See,
I don't know. I'm still close to arguing. You know that he's
You
offside.
haven't even answered it anyway. Forget what you think happened. Is that guy?
So because 22 was scored not by him, I think he's affected play and therefore interfering with it.
No, he hasn't affected play. But affecting play is not the same as interfering with a goal.
No, where does it say interfering with the goal? It's interfering with play.
But it's not.
See, this
Martin,
is football.
stop sitting on fence. Is that guy at top of the picture interfering with play or not? In your opinion?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I don't think he is. No, I don't think he is.
No, I
don't think he is. But my thought process is on this is that why is the Lionel got it wrong? I don't know why he's got it wrong because if
he's probably just got the 2 players mixed up.
And I know what I like what he did as well. No, when he did that clip, you don't see the Lionel's face, do you? You only see his flag.
Like this. Oh, shit,
Do you know what? And I think I actually like that he did that. Do you know what I mean? Because that's gone viral, hasn't it? And no one really knows what that Lionel looks like. And I hope that was done on purpose. I actually hope that was done on purpose.
I doubt it.
Not a bad point,
Do
you know what I mean? But I know I don't care if you doubt it or not. I'm just saying. I hope.
Do you know what, though, mate? I think this comes back to what the it's kind of like a big angle that you push all the time, which I totally agree with. He's made a mistake.
Made a mistake.
But in that passage of play, it weren't the only one that made a mistake. The defending for that was just abysmal. So you could say Lino got it wrong, but then also you could say the defenders got it wrong as well.
Yeah, and I just think, like I said, I'll say it all the time. I'll say it all the time. It's like many people agree with it, and many people just will never accept it. About the weight, I put that tweet out there now. Alan Shearer had to go. Me said about it isn't the fact of people saying it's like it's different to a players making mistakes or a ref's mistake. Both people make mistakes, but one always seems to be weighted more in the blame department than any, and it's always that a referee's simple mistake, like something like that, is always 10 times more weighted than what England Haaland did. Haaland missed an absolute sitter there. Now, if they had finished 1-1 and he missed that sitter against Man United on Sunday, would they been asking for him to get dropped? Would they have been?
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. So it's the weight of the blame that I
Yeah.
and on this one is, I think, as I try to always put a positive take on it from them, I know the line will be gutted, absolutely gutted. So anyone who thinks that these line always just walk away, go and have the Sunday dinner the next day and not think about it is absolute bollocks, because that liner will be gutted. Whether he can explain what it is or not, but I just think it's a genuine mistake. And these things happen in refereeing as well as lining. And lining is a very, very difficult job, as everybody knows, particularly at that level. I like the way they kept the face of the line out of shot. I think that was. I hope that was a nice touch. And I just think, when it would have been from looking at what they could do better, I would have liked to see the ref go over and have a talk to him. But then when you look at it, and I always look for these hidden little signals in instances like this. No one ran over to that line out and give him lows, did they? The player,
No,
do you know what I
I,
mean?
yeah,
The player
who scored the goal just went back.
walked
Didn't
off. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, that was good.
when I look at it away from all that emotion, and these people who just come at me and yeah, look at this, you're going to defend it. Oh, he's not answering it because there's nothing to say. You can't win. So I just sit there and wait. And something will come out. But what never seems to happen, no one ever seems to come out and talk about these things that I'm talking about now. That line will be gutted. B, no one ran over to the. How many times have you seen players run over to liners when they think they made massive drops of water? He just looked over, didn't he? And fair play to him. Absolute fair play to him.
Yeah.
But all these little things in there, you can't see this on Twitter. You can't have a conversation on Twitter. All these little nuances in there make me think, was there something else? Which then ties me into saying, well, isn't that why the PGM will also come after games in big decisions like this, even if it's in the Football League compared to the and just say, well, just so you know, the line, oh, this happened here. And either say you got it wrong, you're sorry, or whatever. Or actually, it wasn't for what you said. And on the Paultini thing, right?
Well,
do you know what
I was going to move you on to this one, because it's been the biggest talking point of the weekend.
Yeah, and this is what
your thoughts were on it.
This is what I'm trying to bring about tying decisions in together about match officials. Is that Paultini stood there with the ball, didn't he, and just dropped it to Keller, didn't he? He just tapped it. Now, did he? Because I can't remember. I haven't looked, honestly, because he's so bleeding busy. Did he then dribble the ball out and kick it, or what did he do?
No, he just kicked it.
So could it have been a free kick? And he just
I've
just
seen
put the ball down. Say it was a free
this.
kick.
Obviously, as you know, I'm heavily invested in Liverpool, and I was watching that second half. I won't reveal my sources, but I was watching it, even though it was under the 3 p.m. blackout. I thought we were done. And obviously the goal came. I think somebody put 1 minute 50 seconds exactly after Kelleher had kicked the ball. And somebody posted a picture on Twitter on I think it might have been Sunday night actually, and it was a freeze frame of the actual collision where there's a Nottingham Forest player that had gone like charging for the ball with his boot high, and it looks like the boot's at the side of Konate's head, and then he's been kind of clattered by the keeper at the other side. So what the guy's argument is, well, if it wasn't a drop ball to Liverpool, would you have preferred it to be a free kick and a red card for your player for booting, Konate in the head? And I mean, VAR never looked at it, I don't think, for whatever reason. I don't know why. But they never looked at it. Whereas if they had looked at it, I've only seen a freeze flame. I'm not seeing like different angles and how much connection he got at the player with the boot. But we know that if you go and catch somebody with a boot that high, the chances are you're getting a red card for it. Now, the argument that I come back, there's two arguments, the two counter arguments to the absolute chaos and meltdown of Forest fans was apparently it happened. I'm not sure it happened earlier in the second half or the first half, where there was a similar incident and Liverpool had the ball and Paul Tierney gave the ball back to the Forest keeper in the similar way as what he did to Liverpool. So he kind of, they're saying he was consistent. He did it earlier in the game and he did it again and it was the same thing. And then the other thing you have to look at, which I lean on loads now, since I've got to know you and I've understood reffing loads more and got my head round my own behaviours at time. I won't say I've ever been horrendous to refs, but I have been nightmare in past. And I come back to I use my team as an example. We played away a few weeks ago. I hate to say this, but the ref, it wasn't professional. I'm talking grassroots kids football. He was cheating. There's no two ways about it. It's someone in the team. He was cheating, and he gave this penalty, and it was the worst penalty decision I've ever seen in my life. Even though my players started to kick off, my instant reaction was, "Sure, he's made the decision. You had 2 opportunities to clear that ball there before you put that tackle in, and you didn't. So if you'd have done your job, then that decision wouldn't have never happened." Now, I'm not excusing what he did. I put a complaint into the league after that because it was so bad. And I've heard he's like that all the time when other teams visit there. But Forest had 2 opportunities to get rid of that ball, and they tried dribbling it out of their own box, 2 players, and it was Endo who got a toe in. I think it was, I can't remember which player it was, a Forest player, which then led the ball going back to McAllister to put it in the box. So they're going at a referee that I mean, I technically I don't know the rules for this, which is obviously where Martin, you're better off filling us in on this. But apparently he did it earlier in the game where the similar incident he gave back to the Forest keeper, which nobody complained about. He did this to Liverpool, and there's a minute and 50, which is a long time in football, between that happening and Liverpool getting the winner, and 2 clear opportunities for Forest to clear, and they didn't, which then led to McAllister getting the ball, and obviously the rest is history. So
right back to my first incident, what I said to you, it's all about the weight of the blame.
yeah,
If it wasn't his attitude of waiting to, and they all say, but he should, some of the excuses I hear from it. Oh, that's the laws, that's different. Yeah, okay, yeah. So what? So there's 4 mistakes by a player, make one equal to 1 bad mistake by. Where do we go then? There must be some form of weighting on it, as in weight. So it doesn't happen. That was absolutely Sunday league crap defending by Forest. Absolutely, that caused that goal. Nothing to do with Paul Tini's doing, 90 seconds early, whatever it was. Nothing to do with it at all.
I think the only argument that could have had mine, sorry to cut you off there, is if Kelleher had banged the ball long, and for somehow the ball made it all the way into the box, and Nunes headed it in, because then you could say, well,
I was arguing that.
They had no chance to get rid of that ball, and what the referee did directly led to Liverpool getting the winning goal. But there was so much play in between that how far back do you want to go?
Just imagine if the other way around, if you disallowed the goal by going back 90 seconds, a minute and a half, there'd be absolute outrage in football.
I know, yeah.
If they went back a minute and a half, they would absolutely be out. Yeah. All those people are saying, nah. If that happened the opposite, they'd absolutely lose their heads over it. And this is what I mean. This is what us as match officials, and me and all with the charity, to flash this up and have discussions about it. I was on the phone to a very, very well-known ref during the week. And he said to me, you know what? In the beginning, I didn't agree with what you were doing, because all you ever did was talk about the bad stuff. All you ever did. And I just said, well, that's all we had, because no one was really listening. So I had to throw the stuff in the face. And I caused it smashing windows at Wembley Stadium. So the doors opened. And he said, but you know what? I know so many people who were just not engaging in ref support, not doing it because I was always battling the FA. Things weren't punishments weren't high enough. Things weren't right about how children go to disciplinary hearings. No one was listening to me about the body cam pilot. No one was listening to me about points deduction. All these, then it all changed. It all changed. And people now realising that. And the words that were said to me this week by this top flight referee was, you were years ahead. You were absolute. And how many accounts are there now that are copying what I was doing 5 years ago? They're all trying to, I get it all the time. And then they jump on me. They go, well, yeah, I agree with ref support. We're an organisation that we believe in it. And look at them. They've got like 110 followers, and they just started up in May, and they say, where do you find the referees score? When I was doing it, there's no one was supporting me. No one was like, oh, shut up. Even referees were going, all you do is talk about the negative parts of it. Well, the reason why we talk about the negative part is because no one was talking about it. And all those Twitter accounts now, the way Twitter's changed in refereeing community now, is that when someone has a go at a referee on a Twitter account, they go, oh, you'll have ref support on your back. I don't even know. I've never met these people. I don't know. They're now tagging me in it and bringing it to me. So to me, that proves the point of what we needed. Other people, and then they get loads sent to me private messages. You never got it off me because you have a look at this for us, and then I'll go after it. Some of these people think I sit there on a Sunday afternoon, scrolling through Twitter, looking for someone slagging off a referee. From the thousands of games that happened that weekend,
What
there's
do you
a
mean you don't?
momentum. Sorry, mate. There's a momentum that's built over many years of prodding the lunatics out there that just think it's great to go online and abuse individuals, which is why I was happy about there wasn't a face shown on that, why I recognised it. Why I was thinking, I hope that was on purpose. Because everyone would have a go at a referee, even famous people, days after saying enough is enough, the mental health of players. Enough is enough. I had it on the Twitter for a week. One of the first tweets after was naming a referee and calling him rubbish and he should be demoted. It's this sort of like desensitization that a referee is a human being and he or she is just fair game for everything. It just was left alone until we started doing what we did. That's what I was going to say. Sorry, Wayne, carry on, mate.
No. Just when you were saying people think that you sit all day on a Saturday scrolling through messages, I was just saying, so you don't.
No, I don't. And like it's there's cases when there's shite on the telly and I'm on the couch and I'm chilling. I'll look through it, but I get a lot of things get shoved in me. They'll either tag me in a
Really?
post.
Does your wife
Honest,
know?
but yeah, and I'll open it and there'll loads of messages on there. Matt, have a look at this. This is outrageous. This manager said this, and it'll be from like up from Newcastle as far as down to Portsmouth. Grassroots football, I of football. They just come to me now. I literally don't have to go looking for it because I never really went looking for it. It just come, and then other people will go, nah, red support will be on your back, and they're grassing on the mates. But we've over the years, the amount it was just left to fester. It was never addressed. The amount of times when our Twitter account goes on it and they see that because we've got so many followers, is that it gets traction and these people take the tweet down or they apologize, said, well, actually, I never thought it was taken that way. That's all I'm after. That's all after, this sort of light shining on it, saying, do you realize what you just said? Do you remember that lad who said they're all little Hitlers and he has a Jewish flag on top of his thread, on top of his actual handle? He had the Jewish flag there. He was obviously Jewish, and he was calling the referee little Hitlers. So I went back to him and said, do you realise as a Jew and what Hitler and the Nazis did to Jews, that you're now calling a referee a Nazi and a little Hitler? Do you realise what? And he took it down, polished to me, said to me, oh, can you take that down? I've had a message off work saying this is inappropriate. And I said, mate, no, I'm not going to take it down. I am not going to take it down. And that's because for years and years and years and years and years, they call us little Hitlers. But they never really twigged what that actually is, what the connotations of that is. And it's having those little small wins like that, where people are just starting to wake up more than ever. But actually, maybe we have been out of order for referees at all forms of abuse for way too long. I think that's where it's going. But
Blue card graphic, Rilesy.
Huh?
Blue card graphic.
Yeah, no, that is. Did you? I bet you didn't put the poll up last week, did you? About whether people wanted the blue card bringing in or not? Did you?
no, I wish I had. Because
well,
obviously
can we
FIFA came out, didn't he? Infantino,
Yeah.
whatever his name is, and said,
Yeah, I mean, it'd be
never be done.
interesting to see where people stood on it because, you're telling me that people are bigging you up, and I had a person that gave me a little bit of a. It were good. It were good banter. It weren't really abuse. I put it on the screens now if you watch it on YouTube. Basically, if you missed last week's episode, we were talking about the introduction of the blue sin bin card or the possible introduction of it. And I was against it at the professional end of the game. I wouldn't be what's the word? I wouldn't be against it below that. I just feel that at the top end of the game last week, I said I thought it would have ruined the spectacle for at least 10 minutes. And if you're looking now on your screens, I'll pop it up. Somebody sent me through the Simbin guide, which I sent through to you guys earlier before we started the pod. Well, I didn't give you much time to look into it, really. I kind of dumped it on you at the last minute. But that's what he sent me. And I can't what he put now, some comment about that's for you, Rilesy. Just to get your head around how it works, give me a little bit of shit, which is fine. When you come on and do shows like this, you don't get always the opportunities to revise or read up on everything that you're talking about. So sometimes you have to go off the top of your head and be honest about it. And I didn't fully understand one
What the
blue
blue card
card
meant?
plus one yellow. I knew what a blue card meant. Did 2 blue cards mean that they could be substituted or not? Blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
So he sent me through this picture on Twitter to help me clear it up, which I'm glad in a way that he did. But obviously, I think this just came after the bandit as well, and I think my reply was, yeah, no wonder they've, or not bandit, but they're not going to bring it in. Look at that, you know how fucking confusing is that? And if you look at it now on your screens, it is pretty confusing, really. Your average fan isn't going to pick that up. I mean, you know, I'm just looking at it now. You've got a blue yellow, a blue, a yellow blue, a blue yellow blue, a blue yellow red. It's just there's so many different variations of it. And you know, I don't think football needs that kind of what's the word? I don't think it needs to be that complex. I think football, when you break it down in its in its purest form, it's a simple game, and that's why it's the biggest sport across the world, because of its simplicity.
I think, like in everything, Wayne, everything, it's how it's explained. It's how it's explained, and I think the biggest thing that's happened here, the media picked up on the wrong end of the stick with the blue cards was sin bin's a sin bin. It's temporary dismissal for 10 minutes. You just go off for 10 friggin' minutes. That's
Yeah,
all.
no, I get all that, and I think we more or less ironed that out pretty much last week.
And that's me
But
talking to these people who don't know the score.
I'm just talking about the form that I've just put up on the screen, so for people to see, in relation to the different variations of what the cards mean. So should you get just one blue? Should you get a blue and a yellow? Should you get a blue? Should you get a yellow blue? I just think there's a lot. I just think you know, I think the easiest way for me to simplify that would be that the blue card has no correlation or lead on to the yellows or reds. It's just a separate thing in itself. So what I mean by that is if they did get a blue card and they had to go to the sim for 10 minutes, they come back on and it carries on, then they get the second blue card, and that is dealt with either the can be subbed or the can't be subbed, you know, and make a decision on that.
That's how I think it was going to be. That's how I think it was going to be.
Well, this form that
form is.
I don't know. I don't know how.
That's why it's new. That's why it's new. That
I know, but I
isn't.
don't know how true this form
I
is.
know. I think that's just a graphic to show you what it is. Blue
Yeah,
card.
but that's what I'm saying. Is this an official
Not
graphic
blue, not
of
blue.
what
It's
they
always
was going
been
to use?
I think what it might be saying blue, it means you can't come back on. Well, all I would say is, and what I've always said about this, which I'm definitely in favour for it, absolutely 100%. And I know you don't think it at top level, but I still think it would work at top level easier than at the grassroots level. It's that everyone knows a blue card is a sin bin, and if you get two blue cards, you can still go back up to 11 players, but not the one that's been twice blues.
Yeah.
To me, I don't understand why that is complicated.
Yeah, but no, it's not that, is it? But then you can have a blue and a yellow and a blue
Well,
yellow.
that's just in what order?
Yeah, but no, but it's there's different
That's
outcomes.
self-explanatory, right? You get a blue
There's
card.
different outcomes.
No, it's not.
All right, then let me.
Right.
I'll ask you then. Without you
Second
looking,
line down,
you're
DC.
looking at it.
Second line down, DC. Yes, yes. One,
Yeah.
2, 3. Fourth line down, CD. Yes, yes. It's the same one, just the other way around.
Hold on a minute, wait. DC, right? So forget the D, blue and the yellow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can he be subbed off? Yes, he
Yeah.
can. Right. Okay then. But then you look at blue, yellow, blue. He ain't got 2 yellow cards. He's got 2 blues. Can he be subbed off? No. But if he gets a blue, hold on. If he gets a blue, can he be subbed off? Yes. Well, where's the consistency there? So if I get a blue for two descents, right, I can be subbed off. I'm not coming back on the field. I'm not going to play. I can be set. I can be subbed. If I get a blue, yellow, blue, I can't be subbed back off. So what? So you're sending me off? So it's not the same.
Those 2 blue cards.
Not the same.
Those 2 blue cards amount to a yellow.
It's not the same.
Well, look at it, right? So you get blue. Yeah.
Look, it's easy to look at
A blue.
you talk to somebody that's lived and breathed football all his life, right? You are overcomplicating a simple sport. It might be easy for us to look at this now and say, "Oh yeah, that equates to this. This equates to this." I am telling you right now, under this simbing guide, what I've been sent, whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, that on there is overcomplicating. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
Let's talk about reality. Talk about reality. Let's just talk about reality. What was discussed happening? Don't go into any Mickey Mouse card that someone sent in. The reality was, the blue card was a communication tool to say being sin binned. That's all it was. It was nothing else. And I can't get my head around football ain't got hold of that. This all don't go blue, blue, yellow, blue, 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 blue. Don't do any of that. Don't do any of that. 2 yellows meant you're sin binned again, same person, but you can't come back on, but someone else can. So it's a temporary dismissal. All they're saying now is to stop that hassle, because like I said last time, oh, I'm going, he's got 2 yellows, he can't go back up to 11 men, 11 women, whatever. It's just to stop that. And then what happened was, where I think it got convoluted, and I said this last week, I'm bleeding repeating myself, is how it was framed, and then they said, oh, we might bring it in for something else in the FA Cup. But the essence of what it is, and what it always has been, it's just a way of saying it's a temporary red card. It's just a temporary red card. I just still can't equate why that hasn't gone into people's heads. It's just a temporary red card. And the opposite to that is blue.
I'm not coming. I get it. I'm just saying, looking at the sheet that I put up, for me, keep them separate. Don't put them together. Keep your yellow cards and your red cards as they were.
Or better still, shut your mouth. Huh? Just shut your mouth for the players.
Don't be deceitful.
Shut your mouth, and everyone will be happy. Just shut your mouth.
But that's never you're never going to get that entirety. You're not as much in an ideal perfect world. You want that, but and I'm not saying that they're right to do this, but times in games people lose their heads.
And let me throw a curveball at you two then, because you keep doing this to me. Got no idea what you're going to ask me, and I'm on the spot. Did you see the one that I got tagged in on Twitter with the SE Dons about calling the assistant referee a bitch?
Oh, that was on earlier on. I was watching that.
Yeah.
Do you know what that? Those Sunday League players, just because they've got cameras, they think and there's always this constant battle. We're the best Sunday League team. We're the best Sunday League team in the nation, and then they haven't won any National Cup. They've never won any. I think teams from Liverpool won it. I think, and it's this. I find it a little bit worrying about Sunday League football, because there is some great Sunday League football teams out there, and a lot of teams that are out there at grassroots level. Some of the players can't play on Saturday because of their jobs or whatever. I know there's some superb footballers out there who's got to work every Saturday, and they earn more money on a Saturday than they would, they would go to play, even at conference national level. So there is some top quality players out there. But it's this sort of YouTube vibe, isn't it? It's been around for a while. And they're all trying it out. There's all these different names, B2B or whatever they're bleeding called. SC Dons, all these, but they're all just acting like plastic gangsters. They're all the vibe seems to be more about, aren't we hard? Aren't we going to do something out of order than playing football? And you can't have both. You can't say we're the best Sunday League football team. You act like absolute balloonheads. I'm not saying just NC Dons. I said the teams who were playing them. And there's a lad there giving us loads going, oh, look at you all big time. And he's the biggest big time person on the pitch. Calling this woman who's giving it up here Sunday to go and do the line at that level of football. I'm not even sure that level of football deserves assistant referees, because the same level of football on a bleeding Saturday wouldn't have neutral assistant referees. So just shut up. You're Sunday League football. You wear bubble coats and beanie hats and think you're all from the Bronx. It's laughable. It is absolutely laughable. And that lad who was giving it loads to it for him to wait team. SE Dons actually were all right on that one, I think.
By the way, we are inviting him on if he wants to come and defend.
You know what I mean? I've heard some really good stuff about SE Dons.
I'd like to see it.
But it's this vibe that's creeping in. This gangster sort of do you know what I mean? Go to Bronx.
Do you not think though? I hate to go into this a little bit, but unfortunately, football reflects society.
Yeah.
And I think because of, I don't want to go too political, but there's a lot of problems out there, isn't there? And I'm not saying this is an excuse, and it's not, but football can't always fix it. And I think there's a lot to be said for people out there at the minute and how people think, and how there's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of social unrest. People are having it tough. There's not a lot of play money anymore for people. People are working to live rather than living to work, or is that wrong way around? Whatever way around it goes, I can't remember. And there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of frustration, and this is by no means an excuse, because we all have to fight these same battles as working class men women, even middle class, I think, are probably feeling it at the minute as well.
Yeah.
And this is not an excuse, because it winds me off the clock. And I think if I can go down and I can be involved in football and not threatening anybody over a bad decision or whatever it may be. Why do other people think? And I'm heavily involved in. I have a team. I have a team that I've got a good team, and they put the life and soul into what we do. So sometimes when you go places, you don't get the decisions that you think you deserve. It doesn't mean say you're going to start throwing around.
But I don't think that's what's happening in that clip. That
No,
clip
no,
is.
no. Well, no, maybe not. But
That's why I want to talk about it. That's why I want to talk about it, because SE Dons have made a brand. They were absolute groundbreaking in what they did with football. The way the brand was, Puma were all over them. Loads of brands were all over them because of the social media, particularly on YouTube. And so many people have started to copy them. They are the originals, don't care what anyone says. And then what's happening is they've definitely softened their brand with regards to commerciality, because people see there's good money in this, and there is. So it's not money with them 100%, because a lot of them have got a lot of money. A lot of the people involved in them have got a lot of money. It's the people who they act up to it, because they know they've got the social media following. That's what I'm getting at. So you had that lad who's giving up loads, knowing that he's going to be on the SE Dons, blah blah blah.
Yeah, what makes you think that's good though? That's what I'm saying. Where does that come
no,
from?
it's not. No, what I'm saying is, it just seems to be a trend going there. SE Dons have created this like cracker platform. I think that but there's this gangster vibe going on around it with them. Everyone who comes in, it all seems to be about aggression and attitudes, and do you know what I mean? Rather than just playing football, your son's league football, mate. You're probably not even, you're probably not even Isthmian League level. Do you know what I mean? But because there's cameras there, these other people are playing up because the Dons have got such a good social media profile. And it's just, to me, it just doesn't sit nice with me. They've created something really good, and it's turning into something.
People are using it.
Yeah,
I think they're doing it right. I think
themselves as Crips and Bloods.
Yeah, I think the Dons are doing it right. I think they're very commercial savvy. But the other people, they're going to be on their YouTube. They're the ones playing up now. The two mark, no mark. Probably haven't done anything. Do you know what I mean? They want their bit of glory. Do you know what I mean? And they're calling like a Lino a bitch and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I just want that checked a little bit, really. And when they put, I thought the ref could have supported the female assistant referee better, which it didn't.
Yeah, it looked a bit like lackadaisical. It just nothing really.
Then again, you got to think about that vibe. The vibe he's in can be an aggressive vibe. Do you know what I mean? I think we got to.
What about even the opposition and the managers? I'm like, because if that had been me, we've just got a. In fact, she'd be really good to get some thoughts. Lexi, she's a really good, level-headed kid.
She's great, isn't she?
14-year-old. She might be 15 now, actually. Girl that
She's
started.
15. She was 15 a couple of days ago.
Well, she played for us for Wayne's team for a couple of seasons, and then she's moved to an all-girls team. But she's just done a reffing qualification, and she's down reffing for us on a Sunday. She generally does 2 games a week for us, and I'm just trying to think. She did her first game for me last weekend, did really well, and there were one point. I mean, I think we're back to this team 11-0. But there was one point where their manager were going really mad at her, and I had to get involved. And I said, "Look, just shut up. She made a decision. That's it. She's a 14-year-old girl. What are you having to go to a 14-year-old girl for who's in here doing a job that nobody wants to do? So just shut up." So I'm a bit surprised that maybe somebody didn't stick up for her and say, that's out of order. Go away, because that's I always tell my my coaches to protect all the refs. So that's not just the kids. I mean, like, even me and Wayne might find it tough sometimes stood in the middle against, I don't know, 20, 30 parents from opposition team who are not happy because you've not given them a throw-in that should have gone their way.
Yeah.
So I think, as a club, we try to round on each other, but especially the kids, to make sure that they get no abuse, and if they do, step in. I mean, we had a coach go onto the pitch other month to confront all parents and sticking up for one of our refs, which still makes me chuckle now because he's got a bad back. He's having to quit because he broke his spine and he was challenging about 30 parents. But some boy. Anyway, listen, I want to move it on to the last bit before we go. Just a quick one. I sent you a link over, Martin, on Saturday. I don't know if you saw it. I just want to get your opinions on this because I think this feeds into everything that we talk about, which is unacceptable. And it's certainly something that you see more on the continent, really. I think is Turkey recently had some really bad incidents of owners getting involved with referees. And I just want your thoughts on. I don't know how true this is, but apparently the owner of Forest, well, you could see him on the video actually. He came down pitch side by the looks of things at the end of the game, and then just some reports I've read, and again I don't know how true this is, that he'd basically stormed down the tunnel after the referee Paul Tierney, and how he heard that he barged or stormed into the referee's room to confront him over the decision that was made before Liverpool scored the winning goal. So I think it's out of order. I think that obviously it's their club. I get that, but I think there's a time and a place to do that. And as an owner, if you're an owner and you're doing that, right? And I'm a firm believer in monkey see, monkey do. For example, I run a grassroots club. If I was running around every game, offering people out and confronting them, I dare say I'd have coaches doing the same, parents doing the same, and kids doing the same. So I believe strongly in leading by example. And you might be mad, you might be pissed off, but deal with the right way. You're owner of the club. You can go there. You can speak to the ref. Maybe give yourself half an hour while he's getting, washed and changed and whatever, and then maybe a word afterwards, because it'd be a lot more amicable. You get a lot more out of it. And I just think storming on the pitch, storming down the tunnel to confront a ref straight after a game is not the look that we want, really. It's something that happens a lot in Turkey.
Have we ever heard of an owner doing that before in this country?
Have we ever?
I can't think of it.
No, I can't, mate. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, because obviously this
think
feeds into everything that you're against, and I think it were out of order what he did. So
I think it hasn't been published enough, covered enough. I think they've been concentrating so much on a non-mistake. Really?
Yeah, so kind of like the refereeing decision has kind of took away
that bit, because apparently there's a fan girl on the pitch as well. Apparently,
really?
I heard something about that, but I haven't seen anything. But I just think if we're getting to the days where owners think, and do you know what it reminds me of, Wayne? When we went to Romania and we went to the EMF Champions League, and do you remember that lad? It was his stadium, wasn't it?
Yes.
And they were losing. They were the home team, and they went out.
They got knocked out.
And one of them was shouting, "This is my home," didn't he? Yeah. Do you remember him? This is my home. He was saying, because he owned the arena we were in. So imagine that,
And he stopped
that level of football
celebration, didn't he? All fireworks and stuff, all flamethrowers,
so
or whatever. Yeah.
This attitude's out there. This attitude is out there at every level of football. And I've seen similar grassroots level where you've seen an owner of a club or a chairman of a club stand up and give a referee loads, and that chairman is like on the league committee of some of these that high profile leagues, not far below the National League, standing up and acting appropriate like that. And I think we're just not too far away from it, getting worse. And if he's not addressed with it, and I say this all the time, don't I? When you get players doing absolute nonsense like this, wasn't he one about a Newcastle player was injured off the touchline and someone dragged him onto the pitch?
No, that would I think that were in Brazil.
No.
I think it
Brazil was it? I just seen the stripe again. I get bombarded. So do you know what I mean? That shithousery is a universal thing in football.
Yeah.
And I think anything to do, like, I can see Forest. I would not. But you two tell me if you will put this past that Forest owner. Seeing what that Forest owner done and seeing the way he's behaved. The last game of the season, it's 0-0, and they need to get a draw to stay in the Premier League. And there's a dodgy decision, and they go down 1-0. Would you put it past him running on a pitch, calling all the plays off and saying, "Come on"? You wouldn't, would you? Now, the way he's acted, you wouldn't put that past him, and that's my worry. That's my worry. What are we going to do to stop him doing that again? Yeah. Why is this not being really addressed? Then you get the PFA doing nothing about their players, never make any form of public statement about it. You get the LMA, never saying anything about their managers and some of the things they do. Now we're getting pundits actively. Did you see what happened to the what's that ex-Wolves manager? Bloody Hugo. Is it Hugo? Really nice lad. What's the name?
Who manages Forest now?
Yeah. You see, he was getting baited, wasn't he? By the pundit, and he was going, "I'm not talking about it."
Yeah, he didn't want to talk.
He actually went out of his way, didn't he? Look, I'm not going to talk about it. The pundits aren't taking any responsibility. Then he gets Shearer doing what he does. It's as if like everyone's thinking, "I'm going to have my bit of having a pop at these match officials," but no one's doing anything about it. They've got owners doing it, managers doing it, players doing it. Do you know what I mean? What else do we need to do before people say, "What are you actually waiting for? What are you waiting for to go, do you know what? Enough really is enough."
It is gradually sliding above the players. Now it's going to the managers and the owners that are being the ones that are bad mouthing the officials, isn't it? Players
Yeah.
don't do it anymore. It's now gone to the managers. Managers will stop doing it and it'll go to the owners, and
It's as
so
if
on
like
and
we
so
used to have
forth.
one bad player, didn't we? On the
Yeah.
pitch, that it was the pain in the ass. Were you, I used to be that player. I remember referees telling me when they played with Barrow, they say, "Oh my God, they got that little scouse lad. He's an absolute nightmare." It used to be rare. Now it's rare to have the nice lad. It's like,
Mm.
it's rare to have a nice lad because you look at on football now, and everyone's just as over competitive, over shithousery. It's like everything they can do to just try and get that edge, and they don't care what it is. But if it goes against them, they
I
lose the
think
nut.
I think it's dangerous territory. If you're
Yeah.
doing
I
that,
do as well. I do as well. Yeah,
I
been
think
kept
it's.
quiet, hasn't
I won't say it's accepted in other countries, but like the ones in Turkey or the Monarchy. Remember when that
That were
referee got
horrific. That.
assaulted?
Yeah.
For me, it's just we can't have that over here. We can't. And yeah,
Should we wind up on a positive?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
on.
So you probably already know, but Sonny Singh Gill,
yeah, brilliant.
yeah, first British South Asian to referee a Premier League match this weekend. So good luck to him.
And you know what? I was talking to his dad last week as well.
Were you really?
Yeah, talking to his dad. His dad, Jan Elsing, was
Mhm.
an absolute amazing referee and really bleeding good at pool as well. He used to always beat us at pool when we had our conferences. I know when you have a true, you say, do you know what? They're a good family then. They're a nice bunch of people then. That whole family that I've met, the three of them, are absolute gents. Absolute lovely, nice people. And you see sometimes nice people don't win. Well, they're winning here because both his sons are doing well as match officials. He was an absolute trailblazer before the Premier League, but was never ready when he was Football League 15, 20 years ago. Top flight, with a turban. He's never good. The Premier League was never ready for it. Some of the people that run refereeing were never ready for it. And I think it's just brilliant, particularly for Jan L, to see his boys doing well, and particularly for that to be happening now. I just think it's only been announced this afternoon, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like I think
Yeah.
it's
Superb.
Look at
I
you
think it's
with your
brilliant.
breaking news. We'll have to get you a nice big banner that just flashes up when you do it in
Do it,
future.
do it. Hey, when you do the graphics on this, put it on. Breaking
Morning
news.
sports fan. Listen, Rousey, just because
Breaking
I don't
news.
know players' inside leg measurements and how long they spend on toilet like you do, doesn't mean I don't watch football or know something about it.
No, it's a really, really good point to end on. Thank you for
Mm,
bringing it up because it is great. It is groundbreaking. And let's be honest, I give the FA absolute decades of abuse for not giving people from historically underrepresented groups the chance. And if you look what the FA have done over the last few years now, who they're bringing through, got Sam Allison, there's only Christmas, was the second ever black referee from Uriah Rennie. Now we got this
yeah,
happening. Then we had Rebecca Wells in the middle.
yeah.
These are good
Moving
match
in the right
officials.
direction.
And this is not box ticking exercise because everyone has said, here goes referees. They are good referees.
Mhm.
My question would always be, the people that are preventing that happening in the game over the last 10, 15 years, I'm glad they're out of it. I'm glad they're out of it. And well done to the PGMOL and the FA for setting up all these things to bring these people through and give everyone a first chance at top flight football. So
Yeah, it's good.
amen to
And
that.
it should be best in class. It shouldn't be about anything other than that. So, long may it continue that they keep appointing people best in class, regardless of, gender, race, colour, whatever, religion, whatever you want to call it. Whoever's best in class, get them in. That's what we want. So yeah,
Amen to that. Good way to end. Well done,
good,
Baz.
positive one. Right, episode 2 is done. We will be back next week, and I've also got a special to put out, which is Martin going solo. So check out that. It'll be released at some point this week when I get my lazy ass round to editing it and getting it out there. Yeah, it's an extra. It's an extra. So yeah, check that out when it comes out. And like I say, if you got anything you want to comment us on, you know where to find us. In fact, they started finding me and gave me a little bit. So yeah, long may that continue. Find Wayne. Give him some shit for a change, not me. So, right. Guys, pleasure. See
Good
you
night,
next week.
boys.
Good night. God bless. Cheerio. Bye-bye. Ta-ta.